Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 in a best of 3 between Gonzo and Walther, and this is round 3 lower bracket of Chickendew's European tournament. So Gonzo, he got here by defeating Chickendew in the last round 2-0, rather convincing victory for sure, and Walther's even more convincing since his opponent gave up the second game in his best of 3 in order to move on to this round. So both players definitely decent, and today on the Allied side we're going to see Gonzo with the 1st Panzer, and on the Axis side Walther with the 9th Panzer. This is Cheux, and we've seen Cheux many times. On the top side it's all about the open range engagements, on the bottom side it's all about the close range engagement with infantry and fire support. So Walther has things like the Panzer IIs, and then on the top side we have like Marder 3s, and Walther's already placed one of those down. On the side of Gonzo, it's going to be Staghounds and infantry supporting the bottom side most likely, and then Cromwell 6s on the top side with Fireflies later on. But we can see that Gonzo has placed a Staghound on the top already, which is definitely an interesting choice. Accompanying that Staghound though, he does have the Cromwell 6, has the rifles, AT gun and a command infantry, so a rather strong start for Gonzo at the top. He's got a rifle squad for the centre, and he's got a couple of rifle squads for the bottom in the town, and probably for the very bottom of the map, supported by command carrier and AT gun. So it looks like Gonzo is going to be going for the bluff on the bottom side, not really defending himself too much down here, and going for the push in the top side instead. What's good for Walther though is that even if Gonzo decides to bring in something like a recon helicopter, there isn't going to be any AT guns here that Gonzo can spot and take out with something like the Cromwell 6 or even a mortar or something. On the side of Walther, he has the Marder 3 at the top side. He's got command infantry, recon and his infantry there. Further down, speed troop with the 251, and going into the town it's going to be 2 units of Panzergrenz, command infantry, Sturm Pioneer, AT gun, and on the very bottom a 251 with the speed troop. So it looks like Walther's going to be using the half tracks to keep the front line forwards, whereas Gonzo's going to be using rifles, and already that is a pretty big disparity. Now Gonzo is in fact actually bringing out a recon helicopter. I thought this would be very unlikely with the 1st Panzer, but still going to make it happen using the Ouster here. Not often you see one of those be used, but that is going to reveal all of Walther's forces heading to this top side, which is interesting. The Staghound getting very aggressive indeed. Now if this Staghound isn't played around properly, the Marder 3 could potentially do a lot of damage. Does manage to get the shot there into the Strelzy. In the mid and bottom side, just going to be rifles holding the ground. I'd like to see Walther maybe try and probe with his half tracks, but the only issue with doing so is that these half tracks, if they die, it's going to swing the map in completely in favour of Gonzo. But it looks like Gonzo on this bottom side has just neglected the town. Look how much ground he's giving to Walther down here. Usually you'd see the blue side here take the town up to here, and then the red side holds at these buildings. But in this case, it's been the complete opposite. Walther just allowed to walk into the city and take it, whilst Gonzo goes for this play on the top side. I like that a lot. Cromwell 6 is being used to engage both the 251 and the Marder 3. Strelzy going to be just running forwards into the fire to take those trees. So Gonzo can pretty much see whatever that Marder 3 is doing, and he is going to have to play around it. But 6 pounder is slowly but surely being snuck up into this tree line area. Staghound going to be engaging the Panzergrenz, but here we see a Hurricane Mark IV coming in from Gonzo, and he's going to be trying to pin down the Marder 3, then engage it with the Staghound. He gets a weapon jam there. That's very nice indeed. Hurricane going to continue the engagement with the Focke-Wulf 190. Looks like the Hurricane took a burst of fire there, but we do see that the Staghound or the 6-pounder there did manage to kill off the Marder 3. The Marder 3 is down and out. Hurricane Mark 4, can it get away from the Focke-Wulf 190? Seems to be falling back as the Focke-Wulf 190 made a pass. If Walther can find that kill, it would be well worth it, but the Hurricane, it looks like it's just about to get out. And, well, Staghound is really going hard here. Does manage to find the Panzergrenadier. Both the Hurricane and the Elster managed to get out. So it's up to Walther to make sure that his Focke-Wulf 190 maybe strafes some ground targets, like the 6-pounder would be good. Stops the 250-10 from going down. Or the 251, sorry. The Focke-Wulf 190 is going to be strafing the Staghound, but that's going to still manage to pin down the Panzergrenadier, and as soon as the front line gets pushed by the Cromwell 6 over those, they're going to be surrendered. And that's job done. Panzergren's going to be run down by the Staghound as the Cromwell 6 continues to make ground himself. Now, relying on recon aircraft and then being countered in the air is actually pretty bad news for Gonzo, because now he can't see this AT gun coming. And currently, it's right in the face of this Cromwell 6. If that Cromwell 6 manages to get a shot off, an accurate shot, I think he might be able to just pin that down almost immediately. But instead he fires at the half-track. That could be a costly mistake. Can he find the pin? That's the question. Focke-Wulf 190. Going to be strafing that. Cromwell 6 gets forced to fall back. Hasn't gone out of line of sight yet. Okay, just about manages to do so. On this bottom side, Sturm Pioneers and Panzergrens have made a nice amount of ground, but a Staghound now arriving to back up the town here and just stop this from becoming an overwhelming advantage for Walther. In the middle of the map, the 251 was surrounded, but looks like the carrier went down, so it's very likely actually that the territory will reconnect here, and the territory lead that Gonzo had will fall away from him. +2 currently for Gonzo on the board. Not going to last too long though, once this territory does meet up again. However, the 251 does get surrounded, and there goes the pocket, so never mind, it didn't happen in time. And Walther going to be left in a bit of an odd position. 6-pounder has moved into the tree line, but is not able to fire at the 251. Walther's going to be trying to engage that at close range. It's going to cause a weapon jam onto the 251. I'm not entirely convinced that was the best idea. At close range, AT guns also get more accurate as well as do more AP damage, so that was, I think, just a mistake there from Walther. He didn't need to show his half-track until the speed through pinned down the 6-pounder. Hurricane Mark 4 going to be coming in with the strafe onto the speed troop. On the bottom side, 251 going to be surrendered. Looks like here, however, that the Dragoni aren't really lasting very well against these Sturm Pioneers. So that's now going to open up ground on the bottom side as well, and Gonzo really doing a fantastic job so far. Hurricane comes back once again for another strafing run. Looks like those infantry are going to try and run down that recon squad. Staghound is on its way to the mid. That will be able to hold back the Marder 3 if it can get into a position like behind this tree line, for example. But if it doesn't, and the Marder 3 engages from range, then that will actually fall in favour of Walther instead. But Gonzo's keeping up the pressure on the top side. He's moved up to these tree lines, and now he's pushing back on the bottom as well. So he's using half-tracks in combination with his infantry to find and kill off as many infantry squads as he can. Taking out these Panzergrenadier would be very important indeed. If that Panzergrenadier dies, it leaves all of Walther's forces without any command. But this Staghound has a job to do against the Panzer II looks, that's for sure. Does manage to find a track wheel damage. At that range though, the Panzer II looks does have decent penetration, but it's going to reverse. It's going to get out of there. Hurricane Mark 4 comes in, strafes the Pack 38 as it was revealed by the Ulster. Staghound manages to surrender the speed troop in the centre of the map, but Staghound gets killed off by the Marder 3. Marder 3 always going to win that engagement. So it's just all about playing around this top side for Gonzo right now, where he's found a lot of territory gain. Currently, Gonzo though, going to try and, I think, maybe flank this Marder 3 with the Staghound. That'll put him in an even better position. M5 half-track runs down this stunned AT. Staghound here going to get an ammo hit, but does manage to take out the Panzer II Lux. Panzergren's being run over by the M5 half-tracks and Dragoni. Now what I find quite amazing is that Gonzo's managed to pretty much take out most of the enemy forces in this town, even though Walther was pretty much given the town from the start. And I feel like maybe Walther's over-aggression into the town, like getting too far up, may have cost him a little bit, because he wasn't able to jump his units into any buildings where they were actually fully covered from fire support. And he didn't have his own fire support to kill things like these half-tracks. That was the purpose for that Lux, and it really didn't fill that purpose. So having like the Sturm Pioneers on the very edge here, when they're a 100-meter range engagement tool, is just not a good idea. And they were revealed because they were using their rifles. The Dragoni are making some ground here. Half-tracks holding the line. Staghound is low on ammunition, but still able to help out. Panzer 1 going to be moving up and taking out a recon squad up here. Staghound's going to be engaging the Panzer 1, but has found itself in line of sight of this Marder 3, which is going to turn and take a shot towards Gonzo. So by now, I think most sort of players that I've seen and played with in the past would have surrendered. But it's good to see Walther sticking to his guns here and not surrendering. Maybe realising that he might be able to bring it back in the Phase B or C. In Phase B, the 9th Panzer do get a pretty nice income, so he might be able to make it work in this phase. Especially if this Marder 3 can start picking up some important kills. He's going to be moving that up the road here with a fast move command. His Panzer 1's going to try and get the pin onto the Staghound, and then the Marder 3 can finish it off. That would be the ideal solution there. But Walther does have to be careful this Panzer 1C doesn't just get wrecked by the 6-pounder. Yeah, internal fragment there, going to do the job quite easily. Fire position from both this Cromwell 6 and the Cromwell 5 are going to hit that Pack 38 in the face. It's going to go down. So we are Dowsey in the perfect position to see that coming. So it's good that Gonzo has brought up his ground-based infantry now to assist him when his recon plane is not there. And previously it did get shot down by the Focke-Wulf. That happened in the top right whilst we were checking out the bottom. Dragoni here, now continuing the engagement with the Panzergrens. It looks like Walther's trying to get closer and closer with his Panzerfaust to try and pick off these half-tracks, but as long as Gonzo micros them properly, the Panzerfaust should never really get in range of the half-tracks. This half-track is making loads of ground. And +3 currently on the board for Gonzo. He's counted up to 1,110 points. And that's pretty damn good for him. Cromwell 5 going to be cleaning up the Panzer 1, getting the internal fragments on the first hit. Panzer Grenadiers might be able to find their way towards one of these tanks and hit them with the Panzerfaust. But that's going to remain to be seen. Oh, there we go. Panzergren firing away. Gets the crew wounded onto the Cromwell 5. The Cromwell 5 also going to be hit by the Marder 3. Looks like that Cromwell's dead. Bit of a mispositioning there from Gonzo's Cromwell is going to get it killed. And this Cromwell 6, that needs to get out of line of sight. The Marder 3 can't afford to engage at that range. Ideally, he wants to be fire positioning the Marder 3s from out of range like you would a normal AT gun, as you will be able to do quite a lot of morale damage anyway. Hurricane Mark 4's going to be pinning down the Marder 3 in the centre. Looks like they might be quite useful on the top side at the moment to pin down that Marder 3 that's causing issues for Gonzo. In the town, we do see an AT gun has arrived and cleaned up the half-tracks down here, which has meant that Walther's Panzergrenz and Sturm Pioneers have regained their positions. But even with still just a +2 on the board, things very much in favour of Gonzo right now. And with that Marder 3 pinned down, Gonzo's going to be going for the kill with this Staghound. But has to be careful of this tree, causing issues there. 17 pounder. Going to be unloaded and engaging at max range. Does get the track wheel destroyed onto the Panzer 1C. Will likely find the kill there in due time. Stelzy and the Staghound going to be finding this Panzergrenführer. Pioneers find themselves pinned down. 6 pounders continuing up. That's just trying to get closer and closer to the Marder 3s. But look at this Focke-Wulf 190 coming in hot. Going to absolutely demolish one of the Hurricanes, and since Gonzo's had these sitting about for a while, they are pretty low on fuel and they won't be able to dogfight for long. Gonzo just lost both of his Hurricanes. Mustang Mark III comes in, 2-star veterancy, to take on both of these Focke-Wulfs, but I'm not sure it's going to be very successful. AT gun on the top side also goes down. So Staghound down here did get hit and has been forced to fall back, likely by this Pak 38. Infantry is making quite an aggressive push here from Walther, and I really like Walther's response to push aggressively on the bottom side now. It's well timed for sure. Staghound does manage to take out infantry in the centre though, and this, look at this dogfight. It's ongoing. Looks like Gonzo's just going to try and get out of there. Thankfully for him, the Mustang's probably fast enough to outrun those Focke-Wulfs. Marder 3 did manage to take out a half-track as it charged him down. But Gonzo still holding on to that top side quite nicely. Bringing in a 17 pounder is really smart as well, because as you move into Phase B and Phase C, any German armour that's difficult to deal with, Gonzo will have an answer for, as long as Walther doesn't buy in a mortar or something of the sort in order to take it out. But now that Walther has air superiority with 2 Focke-Wulf 190s, he might just be able to strafe the 17 pounder to death if it comes into line of sight. Let's see what each player can see. Because in general there's a real lack of recon down here for Walther. In the centre of the map he has just brought up a new squad, but on the top side the same deal as the bottom, just complete lack of recon. Can't really see what's going on. Whereas on the side of Gonzo, he does have recon on the top side, doesn't have much on the bottom side. Looks like it might cost him his Staghound as well. This Pak 38 finding plenty of shots. There we go, Staghound gets destroyed. We jump back to the neutral perspective. Cromwell's going to be opening up onto these Panzergrenz and doing loads of damage, but the 6 pounder did die to the Panzergrenz. Panzer II Lux has come in hot on this top side, and that is actually attacking the Cromwell 6 here. Manages to get the shooter knocked out and then the crew knockout. Meanwhile, this Marder 3 is also doing a lot of work. This Marder 3, as well as its main gun, does have an MG42 that you can use to pin down infantry. But here we see the flank from the Staghound. That was just really badly played there from Gonzo. He could have snuck up to this, engaged the Panzer II Lux without being in line of sight of the Marder 3. But here he just messed that up completely. Staghound and half-track go down for free. Gonzo seems to be losing control of his units on that top side. And now he's trying to continue to reinforce the bottom side in order to find an advantage down here. So these Saperzi, they're actually pretty damn good for town engagements like this. They just need to get into the 100 meter range. But once they do, we might see things in the town swing back in favour of Gonzo. Mustang Mark III. That's going to be coming in for the kill onto the ME-109 G2BR21. Not quite happening just yet, but yeah, look at that. All of these infantry being pinned, slowly but surely. I'm surprised that that recon squad lasted so long. But Walther definitely pushing back. And there's 4 minutes till victory for Gonzo if he maintains a +2. So Walther really has to find some ground. Oh, nice job there by the spear troop. Going to take out the 17-pounder. 80% of the way towards victory for Gonzo. Now the Befehlpanzer IV is arriving on this bottom side. And there isn't really any other tank support down here for Gonzo other than this Cromwell 6. So this Panzer IV could be crucial in this engagement. Bringing up the 258 would also be really, really nice, so that he can use that on this infantry before it gets into the buildings, because that's going to be pretty important for sure. Now on this top side, the Marder III does get the track wheel destroy and the internal fragments onto the Cromwell 6. Looks like that's going down. And now the Marder III will continue to help clean up this infantry unless the Sherman 3 spoils the day. Now this Panzer IV does get bailed out by the 6-pounder from behind. That 6-pounder though is now gone. The Persi are making a push here. They are going to take out the Panzer Grens. Now with that Panzer IV bailed out, I think honestly Gonzo should just secure that by trying to make it surrender. Let's see if he heads towards it. Chelsea and the Superzi now engage in the Sturm Pioneer and Panzergrens. In the centre of the map, these looks, they're taking advantage of a lack of armour on the side of Gonzo that can really deal with armoured vehicles at the moment. He's got a Sherman 3 up here, he's also bringing up a Firefly 1C. But there's nothing on the bottom side that can deal with enemy armour. The Cromwell 7 might be able to get a cheeky kill onto the 257, but even so, these looks could easily go in there and take out the Cromwell 7, I think. Gonzo's gonna still be making ground though. Superzi have done a fantastic job. Panzer Grenadiers have been revealed in this rear sector. Gonzo, I think, wanted to get into the same building there as the Panzergrens, but has actually ended up removing them from cover. They're not in a house, so these Panzergrens should win that engagement. Meanwhile, Focke-Wulf's really doing the job. All of them are going to be coming in for the attack onto the Sherman 3. ME-109 G2 BR21. Going to be hitting them with that with some rockets as well. This is going to allow the Marder 3 to free fire at the Sherman unless it can get out of line of sight. These looks have pushed pretty hard and have found this blob of ground here, but got themselves cut off, so got to be careful about that. 56% in favour of Gonzo. Walther's slowly but surely crawling this back, but Gonzo is sitting there with a solid 2,240 points. Sherman 3 is going to go down to the Marder 3. Very nice job by Walther there to make sure that was pinned and take it out. And just in general, this comeback has been pretty impressive from Walther. Let's see if he can take it any further as he continues throughout this game. Has brought in a Flampanzer. That dealt with the Superzi quite nicely. These Panzer II looks as well are right on top of this Cromwell 6. Does manage to get the ammo storage hit, has the weapon jam there. Let's see if he can get the kill. As it continues to fall back, it might show side armor, but we'll have to wait and see. Infantry engagements continue in the town. Most of Walther's infantry is dead now. But that doesn't mean that Walther can't still clean things up with his vehicles here. 258, Panzer IIs, Flam Panzers. Very, very easy ways of taking down infantry squads. So 54% in favour of Gonzo. Still has this large salient on the bottom side that Walther needs to deal with. 51%. Can Walther bring it back to the 50-50? 17 pounder has been unloaded here. It's going to be opened up upon by the Panzergrenz. Firefly 1C, however, still able to fire away as well. And will be hitting both the Stern Pioneer and Panzergrenz as they try and engage across the open. VulcanHDGaming 190 A8 is going to get forced to fall back by the Crusader AA. And Mustang Mark III comes in, finds the kill. So good job by Gonzo there, getting a kill back in the skies. Will relieve a little bit of pressure. Maybe allow him to bring in another recon aircraft. That would be quite something. Anyway, Crusader AA arriving for this town engagement alongside now the Cromwell 6, and there is a Cromwell 5. That Cromwell 5, decent choice for taking out the Panzer II Lux, and internal fragments works nicely. 54% territory now in favour of Walther. Really, really good comeback. Can he keep it going? Can he swing it back completely in his favour and win the game? We've moved well into phase C now, so Gonzo will have access to Fireflies. It's going to be important to see if the Fireflies can do the job, and up here it certainly did. This Firefly 1C one-shot bailed out the Tiger E, and that is very impressive indeed. He's also going to take out that half-track, relieving his infantry. Now can he take out the Marder 3? That's going to be the next question. ME-109 comes in with the rockets onto the Firefly. Might cause it to be pinned down if it stays in the flames. Panzer II Lux now engaging the Cromwell 6 at very close range. Does manage to take them out. Panzergrenz versus Saperzi here. Saperzi does get shot to death before they flame the Panzergrenz. Fantastic job so far. It's very unfortunate for Walther that his Tiger E got one shot bailed there by Gonzo. But he's going to be bringing up an Opel Blitz munition to fix that. And does now have a 2-star Stug on the way, which should do a lot of damage in the 1,000 meter range to things like Fireflies and other tanks that Gonzo has access to. Cromwell 5 is going to try and clean up this 258. Gonzo's definitely on the back foot. But it's just unfortunate that Gonzo's already made 2,392 points versus Walther's 176. There's still going to be a major victory in 14 minutes for Gonzo, even with Walther's territory advantage currently. Crusader AA are going to make an infantry squad surrender there. On this bottom side, Crusader AA is taking out the Flam Panzer. After that's basically wiped out the town. I think just a clever choice of units around this top side allowed Walther to push back against Gonzo. Gonzo, not having his recon aircraft, kind of stung him for a little bit. Wasn't prepared for the AT gun coming towards him. But this Tiger has now been fixed. Opel Blitz munition managed to do just that, which is going to make the Tiger now engage a couple of unit Estrelsi in the open. Still 53% now in favour of Gonzo. He's counting up his points once again with these Panzergrenz getting surrounded. That's unfortunate indeed for Walther. He can kill as many 17 pounders as he likes, but with the +1 still in favour of Gonzo, it's only a matter of seconds now until victory. Well, minutes, I guess. 1 minute left, but Mustang Mark III is going to shoot down both of those Focke-Wulf 190s. Walther's just too far behind at this point. The aggression in phase A and B from Gonzo was spectacular. It's 27 minutes and 11 seconds it took for Gonzo to defeat Walther. Very nice indeed. Now Gonzo did in fact lose more units than Walther by a solid 25 points, which isn't much at all, but it just shows you how even that was, and the reason that Walther could come back in that game towards the beginning of Phase C. But Gonzo's play and managing to hold ground early on really paid off. Like finding some of the kills up there was just so damn important, like pinning down the Marder 3 with the Hurricane Mark 4 before engaging it with the Cromwell 6 and the Staghound was just perfect. That's how you deal with that threat for sure as the first Panzerner. So very nice to see. Was a few micro mistakes out of Gonzo, like there was a Staghound that died on the top side for no reason alongside that half track. That was kind of uncharacteristic of Gonzo. And on the bottom side, I think there was a few odd plays out of both players, especially when it came to like Walther's Panzer II looks and stuff. But either way, an interesting game for sure. Very back and forth, but Gonzo definitely took advantage of that Phase A and Phase B to find himself the victory. If we jump over to the kills, Cromwell 6, did manage to get a nice bunch of kills indeed. This Staghound took out 2 Marder 3s. That is one Staghound that paid itself off twice over at least. This one took out a Panzer II Lux and a Speertroop. This one took out a Speertroop. A 17-pounder picked off the Panzer 1. Chelsea here taking out 2 Panzer Grenadiers, Pioneer and Pak 38. That's incredible. Cromwell 6 gets credited for a Fell Panzer 4 kill. Quite impressive. And the Mustang Mark 3 there, going to take down both the Focke-Wulf 190 A8s. 17-pounder did pick off the Tiger E at the end there as well. In terms of losses, Focke-Wulf 190 was a good purchase for Walther early on. Taking care of that recon aircraft was very nice. Kind of blinded Gonzo on that top side for a reasonable amount of time before he brought in some ground recon. Hurricane Mark 4 going down did remove some of the pressure onto his Marder 3s as well. This Pak 38 found plenty of kills. Very nice indeed. And this Marder 3 picked up the Cromwell 6, Sherman 3 and the command carrier. Panzer II Lux took out the Staghound, and this one took out a Cromwell 6 on the bottom side. Flam Panzer was a nice move into the town, especially against 1st Panzerner infantry. The only Piats that you have to be worried about is from the command infantry. So yeah, that Flam Panzer was a nice choice indeed. So interesting tactics that we've seen come out today. It's interesting to watch the 1st Panzerner use a recon aircraft. But there we go, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll be moving on in the next video to see the second game of this best of 3. Can Gonzo take it to a 2-0 once again, or can Walther bring it back in game 2? We'll have to wait and see. Join me then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.